This one's interesting, Meat Boy. It's the Great Ape making his return back down to 145. And right off the jump, I thought that was kind of interesting, given how Alex Hernandez looked pretty good in his most recent contest against Jim Miller. I mean, when you pick up a win over Jim Miller at lightweight, I thought that was kind of an encouraging step. But nonetheless, he has been motivated to go back down to 145, where we saw him do this against Billy Q. It didn't work out well. He got finished in that second round, and he's taken on a guy very similar to Billy Q in Bill Algeo, Senior Perfecto, who is 4-3 in the UFC, but he's won 3 of his last 4. His only loss sprinkled in there was a close split decision against Andre Touchy-Feely, and he has some nice wins over Herbert Burns and TJ Brown, where he was able to pick up finishes and bonuses as a result. So in this one, the odds are pretty close. Algeo is a slight minus 135 favorite. Alexander the Great Ape is plus 114. Do you like Hernandez coming down to 145, or is this a winnable matchup for Algeo at minus 135? Who you got?
This is definitely a fun matchup. I think Alex Hernandez, he did get that win recently, but man, he's such a bum. I think he loses, even though I think Senior Perfecto is a bum too. But yeah, I think Bill's gonna have the upper hand. Even though the Great Ape should win this, he probably doesn't. That's how every fight goes. It's like, oh, he's faster, he's stronger, he has more experience, but yet still always loses. So I can't put too much stock in Alexander Hernandez until he gets at least a 4-fight win streak. Other than that, yeah, I guess Bill's in a 2-fight win streak at this point, and um, I'm not the most excited for this fight, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm interested to see how this fight materializes for sure. And Alex Hernandez is an interesting case because he came in by storm, right off the street, 10 days notice, sleeps Beneil Dariush in 40 seconds, and after that pick against the Canadian gangster, who is essentially the GOAT over in the PFL. But once he dropped that day drinking Dawn line against Donald Cowboy Cerrone, I felt like that was kind of the end of Hernandez. And since then, he's just sort of alternated wins and losses. He has a couple nice wins. Trinaldo was the first one, but that was kind of a hometown robbery that most thought Trinaldo won. And then again, most recently against Jim Miller, which you've got to respect in some regard. But he's taking on Algeo, who has been looking good lately. And if we look at Tapology, 71% is pretty bullish on him. Majority beige for that decision. Only 29 roll with the Great Ape. Any chance Algeo gets a finish, or is decision most likely?
Honestly, I think a decision is most likely. I think one of them are going to knock each other out. It'll be very interesting to see how it actually, plays out, but I don't see this going the distance.
Yeah, I feel you for sure. I'm going to go Algeo. I'm going to go by finish. And just because, I mean, we saw what the durability looked like the last time that the Great Ape fought at 45, and maybe he did it differently this time around. But I just think stylistically, Billy Q and Billy A are pretty similar, and both of these Billies might be able to smoke the Great Ape in this division. So I'm going to go Senior Perfecto. I like the height and reach advantage, and I just like the cardio and durability in those later rounds. So Algeo by finish is what I'm saying. Any last thoughts?
No, it's a fun fight. Throw in the comments what you taking and why. Make sure to smash that subscribe.